PTFO. This is a team-based shooter. This isn't like COD. You can't be a lone wolf. Don't be a kill whore. And other bullshit said by people consistently and pathologically accommodating for their own skill issues. Look, I'm not great at Battlefield 6 yet, and I'm still trying to get basic settings tuned in so the game can feel good for me to play. Battlefield 6 feels like a reset sometimes, with a lot of the good aiming and shooting mechanics we've had over the years being abandoned and replaced with clunky half measures that we're already awaiting patches for, combining that with a shockingly insecure community, drowning out all constructive feedback with a massive misspelled slurry of go back to COD, get good, this game is just like real life, that's just because it's realistic. Yeah, I don't expect the average person to be great at Battlefield 6 or even want to engage with its community at this current juncture. So, at the end of the day, all I can say, learn to kill people. That's right, the best advice I could give you for real life also applies to Battlefield 6. And in this mess of half-baked game design, horrible settings, and the bitchiest player base known to man, one thing is pissing me off more than the others when I'm trying to enjoy the game. OBJ-obsessed players that believe that they finally have a game that will mask their inability to function in a competitive FPS environment. Or the people that have been doing this in Battlefield since I started playing Battlefield, and it's been driving me insane ever since. So, what do I mean by all of this? Healing, supplying, repairing, reviving, capturing, planting, suppressing, smoking, spotting are all things that a player can do without doing the one thing they're actually supposed to do. Kill. This is a first-person shooter, not a first-person sit on the flag and capture it after the enemies took it because you didn't kill them. Capturing a point doesn't mean you can hold it. Planting an MCOM doesn't mean you can defend it. It doesn't matter if you're on the objective if you're a wet noodle who's incapable and ineffectual at getting any fucking kills. Reviving your teammates without killing the piece of shit that shot them in the first place doesn't matter. Repairing your team's tank doesn't matter if you aren't going to kill the people shooting at the tank. Violence of action is required. Damage output needs to be higher than damage input. Holding ground and winning gunfights is the most important thing you can do in any FPS game, and in Battlefield it's even more essential to locking down flanks, securing objectives, pushing forward. You need to be able to hold an area, make it yours, and mow down anybody who gets near it. Your goal is not to capture an objective or plant an MCOM or take something from the enemy team, except their ability to do the same. You are supposed to take away your enemy's ability to play an objective. This is an important mindset shift you have to have when playing competitive objective-based games. You are not trying to get the B domination flag. You are not trying to get the C conquest point. You are not trying to get MCOM A. MCOM A doesn't do anything until you interact with it. And guess what's going to keep you from doing that? That's right. So, the thing is, with Battlefield, with Call of Duty, with any competitive shooter that has objectives, your goal, first and foremost, has to be to remove your enemy's ability to defend or attack. If you're fixated on the MCOM station, or the breakthrough capture point, or the conquest flag, or the domination flag, or the hill, you're gonna miss the actual thing that's going to kill you and your team, which is the enemy. The enemy is your objective in any objective game mode. I have said this before, and I was immediately met with some edge case hyperbole about, oh, so you think it'd be better if I sat on a hill and occasionally sniped like one person a minute? No. You still need to be playing towards where the game is telling you to play. But that's all the objectives are. The game indicating where the action should take place and what your underlying objective should be. But the actual main objective is your enemy. The main objective is the enemy. The game doesn't exist without your enemy. I didn't think that FPS games had to explain this to players, but clearly, especially with the release of this game, the types of people that are coming to play it, they need to be told this, so you're getting told this now. In any objective game mode, in any game mode at all, in any game like this, the enemy is the main objective. It doesn't matter if you have 37 captures if you can't back it up with about 50 defends.
Yeah, what are you doing over there, friendo? Dude, get taser. Ooh, we got the M60, boys.
Battlefield games unfortunately give players a ton of numbers on the screen for throwing down ammo boxes, health packs, and playing the objective. But unfortunately, none of that matters if your enemies are still standing, still attacking, still pushing, still suppressing, still spotting. If they're still doing stuff, you're losing. And that's the best mentality to have. Now, not literally. Have an abstract thought for once in your life. Not literally, but if they're existing, you're losing. It's sort of the mentality you gotta have. Because if they're not existing anymore, if they're forced to go to the respawn screen and spawn back at the previous objective, or their home base, or on a squad mate that you're also about to go kill the fuck out of, like, that's good. That's what you want. And it's funny because I see people complaining about unbalanced matches where people are being pinned in their spawn and oh, my team's so bad. And honestly, it comes down to everything I just bitched about. I've seen this for years. I've seen it in multiple different shooters for years, but primarily in Battlefield. Because while people will make fun of games like Call of Duty for being like a dopamine trap with like numbers flashing up on screen, ADHD stimulation, Battlefield does the same thing for old heads that really can't win gunfights or position themselves properly or control recoil or fucking anything. So they get all these numbers on their screen for just tossing an ammo box down or camping on a B flag until they're eventually killed off of it. That sucks. Some teams have an unbalanced amount of people that don't understand the importance of a kill or the importance of a death. And the way entire squads will run into my line of fire tells me that this is actually a fairly common issue. No one is expecting you to shut down an entire flank by actually holding your ground, rotating cover, keeping your sights up, and dropping entire squads, but that's what good Battlefield gameplay actually looks like. The weird ADD, I'm gonna go cap B, I'm gonna go cap C, I'm gonna go cap A, I'm on every objective, look at all this objective score I have, the number keeps getting bigger. Like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You could be on top of the leaderboard with just a ton of just raw score, but if you weren't doing anything to keep the enemy back and you have like 60 deaths and only like 20 kills in a half hour, I'm sorry, you weren't helping. You weren't actually keeping the enemy at bay. Unless you could prove that all of the captures were just you by yourself and you were the only one taking initiative to be on those objectives, then you were probably accompanied by teammates. And if you won, it was because those teammates actually know one of the basic fundamental mantras of competitive FPS gaming: you have to slay before you OBJ. Yes, you shouldn't just camp outside a flag and shoot into it, you should go and capture it. You should try to get in there and capture the objective. But the only way you're doing that is by actually getting kills, which is why a lot of these objectives go uncaptured, is that a person with low gun skill and low game confidence looks over at a building full of enemies and goes, I'm not pushing that. If you and your squad want to make the largest difference possible on Battlefield 6 in these matches, you just have to focus on two things: defending what you do take, more so than focusing on just the taking, focusing on the protecting of what you've taken, and removing the enemy's ability to play the objective instead of just playing the objective better than them. It's not hard to stand on a conquest flag. It's not hard to hold a button to plant on the MCOM station. That's not where the skill in a game like this is. The goal is to remove the enemy's ability to do those things. Those are underlying things. That's why they require the least amount of actual technical effort. The effort comes from eliminating your opponents. So you focus on taking out the opponents and protecting what you've taken. Whether it's a little rock above the MCOM station, a little bit of cover, a bedroom that overlooks a choke point, or the whole fucking objective in Conquest. Defend it as much as you can. And that's the end of everything I have to say here. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comment section below. And before a lot of you say it, I won't return to Call of Duty. Black Ops 7 isn't out yet. See you when I see you. Goodbye.